All praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to Apostle and Elders in New York, GMS. Citation to Yahweh around the world is teaching the truth and putting your lives on the line for it. And shalom to you, serious Aqua. That's learn from the video. My name is Maya Kaala Bangad with Chicago branch, a great millstone. Like to make a disclaimer that we're not Black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And speckled birds that scout abroad. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their father's paternal bloodline go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. We are not affiliated with any Islamic groups. We are not affiliated with any Black identity groups. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. All right, man. So basically, we have a product of Esau's inferiority complex, which is erroneously called white supremacy, right? Because Esau's not white, he's red. All right. And you can see in the video right here, this bugged out Gadite, so-called Native American. Number one, he has red lives matter. Number one, you're not red. Okay. Your skin's a various color of brown. All right. Okay. Red is a name that the so-called white man put on your people. All right. To hide himself as being the Edomites, because Edom, Adam means red. All right. And to strip you away from your true nationality, which is Israel. All right. Now, I've had play what he about to say. I want y'all to hear it.
Here on a day off, just wondering, because I keep saying this stuff about Black Lives Matter and all these white privileged white folks. You know, I work with a lot of privileged white folks, and they bust their ass. But
first of all, Black Lives Matter is headed by the Edomite, so-called white man named Soros. All right, and it's not for so-called black people. All right, and black is a color, not a nationality. That's something Esau gave to the so-called Negroes in America, who are the tribe of Judah, who are Israelites from the tribe of Judah. All right, so that Black Lives Matters is garbage. All right, so most of Black Lives Matters activists that was doing all that, those were privileged Edomite, so-called white people. All right, and number one, how can you be privileged and hardworking at the same time? I mean, you're being confused and you all over the place. These the same people that came to your land, beat up, murder, brutalized, raped, enslaved your people. All right, and you just bigging them up. All right, and really you're not. You think you're pro so-called Native American, really you're not. You're pro Esau Edomite. Watch this.
I'm just curious. Y'all want to talk about slavery all the time. How come the black people never talk about how they had white people enslaved for over 5,000 years? You know, the Egyptians and North Africans and Moors, you know, and was never flee.
All right, first of all, the so-called Negroes in America are not Egyptians. All right. This point blank is it's a historic and a scientific fact. All right. Let's go this. Look at this guy, man. This guy a fool. All right. And the Moors ruling Europe, all that dark age, it does by divine right. All right. Anyway, all right. What you want to talk about? Let's go to the definition of and it's funny, I just did the definition of Ham Zonder Fan Bible Dictionary. All right. Get this. Here you go, right here. It says Ham. Look in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Get the oldest edition you can, because now they changing it. Ham, perhaps Hot, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. All right. So it says not the Negroes. All right. So the so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, are not Egyptians. I don't know. You need to get your information straight, man. All right. You're not smart. All right. You're smart dumb. All right. Your education is watered down, man. It's outdated, just like AOL internet. We have to get that down internet. All right. Now I'm reading from the book Weird History 101. All right. It's on page 153. It said, as the demand for agricultural labors increased, so did the importation of slaves. Native American, Moors, Turks, and Jews were also sold as slaves in 17th century America. All right. People you think there are Jews, though Israelis, or Jewish people. All right. Those are not the children of Israel. Okay. You said Israel second shut down. All right. All right, now you go to because I'm gonna go with prophecy first, all right? Then the physical attributes. Look at this. Now this was seven the real Israelites get back in the land. All right. This is what happened to real Israelites, 12 tribes of Israel get back in the land. All right, not these people. It says right here, Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. It says the word that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. All right, all 12 tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above hills, and all nations shall flow into it. All right, so when Yahweh set his kingdom upon the earth, all right, he's going to send his son, Yahweh, the one everybody in me called Jesus. He's going to send the elect, 104,000 of each 12 tribes of Israel. He's going to send the angels to establish what? His kingdom, all right, to conquer the nations, to get him under him, all right. It said, as many people shall go and say, come ye, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the tower of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh Jerusalem. All right. It said, he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears to prune hooks, and nation shall not lift a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. All right. And this is the total opposite, man. They not living in peace. Over there in Israel is constant war over there. And this is what they second shut down Israel to enter into lockdown as the second coronavirus wave hits. And here go right here, one of the people you think there's a Jew, when the scripture said there should be no war and they should live in peace. This is not peace. Right here. All right. Let me get this. Just bear with me, y'all. Can you get this scripture right? It says right here, Ezekiel 34:25 says, I will make them a covenant of peace and will cause evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. And I will make them in the place around my hill a blessing. I will cause the shower to come down this season. There shall be showers of blessing. All right. All right. So they supposed to be dwelling in peace. All right. With Yahweh. All right, and Yahweh Shai back in that land, and also King David back in that land, man. And King David haven't appeared yet. All right. I mean, this is the total opposite of it, man. What are you talking about? Let's go to the physical attributes. All right. Let's go right here. Matter of fact, before that, let's go to the definition of Israeli, what they call themselves. It says right here, Israeli relating to the modern country of Israel. All right. A native inhabitant of Israel, a person of Israel descent, right? Somebody that was born in the modern day state of Israel. All right. A person born, raised, or living in modern Israel. See for the Israeli English dictionary. Now let's look up Israelite. A member of the ancient Hebrew nation, especially in the period from Exodus to Babylon captivity. All right. So that's the difference. That's why you got to understand words, man. All right. Now let's look at, let's see. Ashkenazi Jew. Let's see, you get a comparison on the internet. Let's get let's see, Moses look like Egyptian. Put that in, might get the thing. Moses mistaken. Egyptian. Well, you know what? I'm gonna use this chart right here. All right. All right. Yeah, because it says right here, if Jesus' hair was like this, talking about your house had hair like this, skin look like this, it is from here, or in an area where colored people know, then who is this? All right. So it don't fit right, man. So how come Moses mistaken for an Egyptian when the guy don't look Egyptian? All right. Here go the Egyptians right here. Brown skinned people. Here they go right there. There's a modern day drawing of Moses. All right. They'll go ancient drawing of Moses. All right. By people over there in Syria. All right. You know, I mean, something wrong, man. You know, we Exodus 2 and 9. Look at the Egyptians. All right. I mean, something just ain't right. All right. It says Exodus 2 and let's see. Salat 2:19. That's what I meant. All right, this when he saved Jethro's daughters. It said the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up. This verse 17 and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Beerel, they followed to Jethro. He said, "How's but ye are come so soon today?" And they said, "The Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of shepherd, also drew enough for us and watered the flock." All right, so here go the Egyptians right here on this poster board. All right, you see different examples of it. All right, now let's look at these people who claim to be the Jews. I mean, this don't match. Just like that on Sesame Street. Something don't belong here. I'm paraphrasing. All right, I don't remember because it was a long time ago. All right, these don't look like Egyptians. So what are you talking about? That was us, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American that was enslaved in Egypt under another dark-skinned people. All right, who are Hamitic descent. We are Shemitic descent. All right. Let me get you back in here. All right.
They're working native here on a.
And also the Moors ruling. That's part of prophecy, man. As a matter of fact, what you don't know, I believe in the year 93 AD, Septimius Severus overthrew the Roman Empire, who was oppressing so-called black people, Israelites, in Rome. All right. And the rest of the heathen nations who didn't want to go down their program, they took it over in their older spanning years. All right, the Moors were just like the last, basically like the Moors were the last one that had power, man. All right. Really, it was Queen Victoria. She was the last Israelite to sit on the throne in England, man. All right, so England's really our last downfall. All right, Moors were Israelites, man, and that was part of biblical prophecy. All right, well, as a result of that, the Edomites were suppressing us. Our people overthrew the Edomites, and our people end up ruling over there, man. All right. But then Esau got what? Esau got loose for a little bit of time. Then what? We had to go under him. All right. It says right here, Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. The bottomless pit is talking about Europe. All right. A great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, which Esau, the old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan bound him 1,000 years. All right. And cast him to the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive nations no more till 1,000 years be fulfilled, and after he must be loose a little season. All right. So he ruled over 1,000 years and a little bit more. All right. So that's why the Moors was ruling over the so-called white man. All right. In Europe, man, because it was divine prophecy that would happen. And as a result, it was a result of them oppressing the hell out of our people, man. It was Nero who set Rome on fire that blamed on the Israelites. All right, so the Moors was in righteous ruling over the Edomites in Europe, man. All right, that was fair. All right, let me say Moors. All right. But see, with Esau in trouble with the Most High, he afflicted us. Let's read that in Zechariah 1:15. It says Zechariah 1:15. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are eased, for I was but a little displeased, and they help for the affliction. How they do that? All right, I'm a Gadite. All right. And the Gadites over in the Western Hemisphere, they are the so-called Native Americans. You. It just happened that my ancestors stayed in the East. You all came to the West, fleeing Assyrian, feeding Assyrian, oppression, man. And you want to follow law, statutes, commandments of the Most High over here. You want to follow of your holidays you want keeping over there in the East. All right, that's why there's Hebrew artifacts all over the Americas. That's why you do Hebraic customs. That's why you face the East when you pray. All right. Okay. That's why you had certain refugee cities. If somebody among your people asking to kill somebody, all right, or it's offense to take another man's wife, you put them to death. Or your brother dies and then you married your brother's wives, that's where you come from, man. All right. All right. And so how they do it? They gave what my people over here in the Western Hemisphere, they gave them what? Measles blankets, polio in it. All right. They gave them wine cause people didn't have wine in a long time. All right. Their system was used to it. All right. Conquer them, enslave them, stole their land, call them red. All right. In some cases, they forced my people over in the West Hemisphere, the Gadites, so-called Native Americans, or American Indians, whatever you want to call them, the Aboriginals. All right. Forced to mix with them. That's why some of your skin light. That's why some of your light skinned, man. And some of our people purposely mated with them. All right. You had some that I said so-called chiefs, because that's what Esau called them. All right, but you had some of our leaders, so-called chiefs. They let their daughters get popped by the Edomites, so-called European fur traders and enslavers and miners. All right, and that's how some so-called American Indians, so-called Native American tribes got taken over, man, by the Edomites. That's causing havoc, man. All right. That's why Esau got you on the reservation. The same man put you on the reservation when there's no resource, hardly no water, no food, anything. All right. This is the reason why you got to get up and work every day, all weary and tired. And the Edomite police, so-called white policemen, shoot you down in the streets, ain't putting up on the news, raping your women, and you can't do nothing about it. All right. It's a funny thing, you got your own police force, and Esau come down and do anything to you all and get away with it. All right. And then you go back on the more, then what? Esau, like I said, should be loose a little season. Well, he started spreading lies, started spreading destruction, man. Matter of fact, to some of the image of, I'm gonna do a video on a so-called Native American who's dark skinned and lighting them up, man. It's a Joe 924, man. He cut the face of the judges. All right, and he got that so-called white image, that pale face image, that's in your churches, in where you at, in some of those Native American churches in there. That's why y'all bugged out and y'all buddy with a so-called white man. All right, man, you ain't pro so-called Native American Indian, man. All right, you ain't none of that, man. All right, your spirit don't the residue that, man. Your spirit don't speak that, man. You buddy with Esau, so-called white man, pale face, the man with the forked tongue.
A day off. Just wondering, because I keep saying this stuff about Black Lives Matter and all these white privileged white folks. I work with a lot of privileged white folks and they bust their ass, but I'm just curious. Y'all want to talk about slavery all the time. How come the black people never talk about how they had white people enslaved for over 5,000 years? The Egyptians and North Africans and Moors, and was never freed until Moses come along. And the first famous slave in history was Spartacus, a Greek gladiator who rose a 1,000,000-man slave army up against the Roman Empire, and back when America was hunting my ancestors out west and killing us by the thousands, murdering my people, the Buffalo Soldiers, who were Black American Infantry Division, four different divisions of Black Americans that hunted my ancestors and murdered my ancestors with the white folks when they were freed. They wasn't forced to do this, so why no one never talks about that?
You got many people talks about that. All right, you're ignorant of it, or you refuse to look at that history. All right, and Spartacus was a so-called black man. All right, let's get that out. All right, look that up on yourself. All right, look that up for yourselves, man. All right. Matter of fact, some of the your Native American brothers participated with the U.S. Army against you, man. All right, so that you know that's Native American participation in U.S. military. All right. Let's see. I'll just add it in there. All right. And the reason why the Buffalo Soldiers, all right, and the so-called Native American came again, because that's part of the prophecy of the curses in Deuteronomy 28. It said Deuteronomy 28:54, so that the man that is turning among you and very delicate, his eyes should be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. All right, it said evil. It said he gonna have a good eye and celebrate had cake and ice cream with you, man. All right. You and me, a lot of people, man, they know about the Buffalo Soldiers. They know the Buffalo Soldiers was wrong for participating in that war against their own brothers, man. They got their brothers, man. All right. I said we call, I'm Gad, I raised him on Judah. All right. So, all right. So, it says right here, it said long tradition participate. It says American Indians had participated with the distinction in the United States military action for more than 200 years. And some of both those soldiers might have been so-called American Indians, man, because you had a lot of Gadite so-called American Indians reclassified as Negroes. All right, it said their courage, determination, and fighting spirit were recognized by the American military leaders as early as the 18th century. I think they, Indians, can be made as in use as scouts and light troops. General George Washington, 1708. It said many tribes were involved in the war 1812, and the Indians fought for both sides as Missouri troops in the Civil War. Scouting the enemy was recognized as a particular skill of Native American soldiers in 1886. The U.S. Army established Indian scouts to exploit this aptitude. The scouts were active in the American West in the late 1800s. In the early 1900s, accompanied General John J. Pershing expedition to Mexico in pursuit of Pancho Villa in 1990, going down another brother, the Issachar brother, so-called Mexican brother. They were deactivated in 1947 when their last man retired from the Army in ceremonies at Florida. What is this? Florida, Waka. Let's pronounce that. Because it's like Haka or Waka, Arizona. So if I pronounced that wrong. Native American from Indian Territory, also recruited by Teddy Roosevelt, Rough Riders, and saw action in Cuba. Also, the Buffalo Soldiers, man, was in there too. All right, in Cuba in the Spanish American War in 1898. As the military entered the 20th century, American Indians had already made a substantial contribution through military service and were on the brink of planning an even larger war. All right. All right, man. So you can read the rest of yourselves, man. All right. And then also you have what you don't talk about since you say I'm gonna get you on this. All right. What is this? Let's see. How come you ain't talking about this? Americans are the original sin. Europeans. Right. Where is it? We're talking about the Comanche. You know what? Let me Jump out of here. Let me see this a little faster. And you're gonna get to the point. Ute Comanche slave trade. It said Ute also introduced Comanches to European craft, having traded regularly in New Mexico since 1680s. Utes had accumulated enough guns and metal tools to pass some of them on the Comanche allies, who now move in liberty overnight. All right, saying for Stone Iron Age. That's Esau racing. All right. Let me get down here where it says, all right. Let's go down here. It says, right, I'm just jumping to the point. It said, with UT assisting Comanche incorporating themselves into an emerging slave raiding and trading networks on New Mexico borderlands. By the time Comanche arrived in the region, commerce and Indian captives was an established practice in New Mexico, stimulated by deep ambiguities in Spain's legal colonial system. Although thousands of Pueblo Indians lived within the bounds of Spanish-controlled New Mexico, strict restrictions prohibited exploitation of labors in Chlamydia. Grants to tributary labor, economic keystone, early Spanish colonialism in the Americas were abolished in New Mexico after the Pueblo Revolt. All right, the repartimiento system of labor dispute allowing colonists to pool and allot payable for labor public projects. All right. It says most Pueblo Indian firmware was at least superficial Christian converts who exploitation was strictly regulated under Spanish law, eager to obtain personal slaves to run their kitchens, ranches, fields, textile workshops, and to reinforce fragile sense of honor, prestige. Spanish elite turned to captive trade in Indians, barbaros, savage Indians. Spanish laws prohibited the buying, selling, and owning any slave, but colonists in New Mexico cloaked the illegal traffic as riscante or ransom barter, where they purchased captured Indians from surrounding nomadic tribes, attempting to rescue them from mistreatment of heathens. In theory, these ransom Indians were to be placed in Spanish household for religious education, but in any practice, many of them became common slaves who would be sold, bought, and exploited with impunity. It said Ute had first into Mexico slave markets as commonly seized and sold by Spanish, Navajo, and Apache slave raiders, but the allied Ute Comanche soon inserted themselves at the supply end of the slave traffic. When not raiding New Mexico for horses, Ute Comanche arrived peacefully to sell human loot. Their raiding parties ranged westward into Navajo country and north into Pawnee country to capture women and children, but their main target was the Carolina and what is that? Jacarlo Apache Village. A lot if I pronounced that wrong. It's an Apache village just in the upper Arkansas Basin at the western edge of the Southern Plains. All right, if somebody put in the comment board I pronounced that word correctly. All right, but anyway, it says all right, it says trafficking Apache captain mushroom in New Mexico. By the late 17th century, the people in New Mexico possessed some 500 non-payable Indian captains, were emerging as major producers of slave labor for mining camps of Nubio, Vizcaya, and Zacatecas. They even sent slaves to tobacco farms in Cuba. By 1714, slave trade has become so widespread in New Mexico that Governor Juan Enrique Flores Magallon saw it necessary to order all Apache captives baptized before taken to a distant place to sell. Many Apaches were purchased from the Ute Comanche, who mutually sustained alliance had put them in position of power over their neighboring native societies. By early 18th century, the Ute Comanche coalition dominated the northern borderlands of New Mexico. The Allies shut off Navajos from prime trading and raiding local New Mexico and treated the colony itself as exploiter resource depot. All right. So these are your own brothers, man. All right. All right, being slave traders, man, against their own tribes, man. The Gadites enslaving Gadites, and then in the southern United States, you had Gadites enslaving other Gadites, so-called Native Americans enslaving other Native Americans. You had so-called you had some of the so-called Native Americans, all right, that was enslaving their brothers, the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes in there, man. All right. So, there's no, even though it's introduced by Esau and his tail bears, right? His offspring that he had with the Gadite women, so-called Native American women, but you had Gad enslaving Gad, and you had Gad that enslaving Judah, man. All right, so your hands is not squeaky clean as you think, and really you don't know a damn thing. All right, you don't know a damn thing. All right, you need to shut up. You need to shut the hell up. Look at our videos.
You're working native here on a day off.
They're teaching GMS, Men of Valor, DTA, and etc. etc. All right, the other camps that divide this word correctly, and get your head right, man. All right, but a guy like this, he ain't gonna wake up, man. All right, here he is. All right, this guy spilled all this garbage, man. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are Sodom's children, they have none understand. This guy definitely got no understanding. They are wise to do evil, he doing evil, all right? But to do good, they have no knowledge, all right? You stupid, you had no knowledge at all. Just like the rest of the 2/3 of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites of the Bible, man. Because if you had knowledge, you wouldn't made this damn video. And you will put something idiotic up there, Red Lives Matter. Because red is a term that they were put on, like I'm saying, red was a term that was invented by Esau Hawaii to put up on your people, man. And Black Lives Matter, that's set up by Esau. All right. You just a fool that's mouth running like diarrhea. But I'm going to end this, Shalom. The mic been dropped.